Hello everyone, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the fourth episode of Placement Talk series organized by PPIIT Student Chapter. I am delighted to have you all here and excited as we have our amazing seniors with us. Getting a chance to talk with all of these is such an honor for me. So first, I would like to congratulate them on behalf of PPIIT Student Chapter for getting placed in such prestigious companies. So here I am Samir, your host for today, and I would like to invite my co-host Parul.
Thank you, Sami. Hello, everyone. I am Parul Singh, co-host for today's session, and I am excited to have an opportunity to interact with respected seniors who got a fantastic kick-start in their professional career. So, let's move on to a brief introduction to our seniors present here with us. From Walmart Lab, we have Harshit Pathak sir as a software development engineer.
From Standard Chartered, we have Aniket Agrawal sir as software development engineer and who was also offered an PPO at Mbibe.
From Future Force, we have Ayush Kumar sir as a market analyst.
From Cubation, we have Saurabh Kumar sir as associate consultant.
From Quantify First, we have Surya Nigam sir, Jalas Tripathi sir, and Yash Jedia sir as a business analyst, CS engineer. Congratulations again, seniors, for being part of such reputed companies. We are really delighted to have you all here.
So without wasting any more time, let's get started to the question. Sir, apart from core, many people want to move towards different streams like finance and coding. So at what stage did you prioritize your stream to choose between core and non-core? And so what are the opportunities in off-campus placement?
So basically, I have chosen coding as a career in my third years. So basically, just after I was getting rejected by the Kane, I thought that maybe the oil and gas industry was not for me. So I started basically regarding the data structures and algorithm part, because that's the most important thing when you go towards the software development fields. So the company that looks into a student is basically regarding the data structures and algorithm. So I started learning things and doing questions on interview bit and lead codes. That was all there. And I have started some projects in web development in Python, Flask, and basically the Node.js. And that's all the things that changed me towards that.
For me, it was from second year itself. I started my second year, and I was always interested in programming itself. So from when I started in second year, I started doing competitive coding and Android app development, and participated in many hackathons to get some experience and made some projects. And that's why I got into Walmart, doing internship there and all.
Yeah. So to talk about when exactly did I started shifting my focus towards finance, would be nearly towards the end of my second year, when I was preparing for an internship at ISB, if you all know about it. So when I was preparing for my internship, I was slowly introduced towards the field of finance. And at that point of time, somehow I was free as well. So I got into exploring, and I realized that I do have an inclination towards it. And finally, throughout my internship that I did have eventually at ISB, I did get to explore a lot about finance and economics. And that actually brought me I developed this thought process of actually thinking of finance as a career option for me. So yeah, that would be the particular time where I decided that I would like to shift from core to non-core. Yeah.
तो मैंने तो थर्ड ईयर में थोड़ा बेसिक कोडिंग स्टार्ट किया था पाइथन में. उसके बाद अपने जो कोर सब्जेक्ट थे उसके रिलेटेड 2-3 प्रोजेक्ट किए थे. एक हर्षित पाठक के साथ भी किया था. तो उसके बाद पाइथन से थोड़ा शिफ्ट हो गया. मैंने फिर डेटा एनालिसिस और मशीन लर्निंग पे थोड़ा ध्यान दिया. फिर जो पेट्रोलियम कंपनीज तो थी नहीं, एक जो थी उसमें रिजेक्ट हो गए थे. तो उसके बाद जो 2-3 फील्ड जो बचती थी, लाइक डेटा एनालिसिस हो गई, बिजनेस एनालिस्ट हो गए और थोड़ी कंसल्टिंग होगी। फाइनेंस वाला तो और कोडिंग वाला तो अपना पार्ट था नहीं, वो आता ही नहीं समझ। तो ये जो क्यूबेशन थी इसमें जो मेन रिक्वायरमेंट थी ना वो मेरे एक्चुअल प्रोजेक्ट से मैच कर गई, जो पाठक के साथ मैंने किया था। तो वहाँ पे वो कनेक्ट हुआ और इसलिए।
So talking about me, in that petroleum industry में नहीं होना, that this I knew from the very beginning, तो नहीं होने वाला था. But working seriously towards any other role, so I started by the end of the third year, or you can say the beginning of the final year. And if we specifically talk about business analyst, it is basically about problem solving skills and all that. So this, I think it's not just because we have learned through and gone through some fixed process and hardcore videos or something like that. So this, you work on real life projects throughout your college life, right? So I think from the third year onwards, or even the second half of the second year, I was very actively involved in number of clubs and all. So that's why I was involved in this thing, how to tackle a problem, how to think analytically, right? But yeah, there were things that I specifically did for the job role. So those were like reading case studies and solving estimate, like these kinds of things I was starting doing it, and this I did in the finance year.
Let me sum up everyone's points. Like there are few streams as a fresher you can get in. One is finance, second is in IT field, third is business analyst, fourth is business development manager. So these are the four topmost streams you can get in apart from what you are studying as a ISM in any major. So right from the start, I was very clear that I'm not into coding or in finance. So I had only two options. One, either to focus on my core, and second, to focus on my non-core skills. So right from the start, I was very active in college. I was active in organizing events. I was active in all kind of extracurricular activities you can think of. So that gave me an upper hand to think of business analyst as a career. But I also tried to keep my balance in technical part as well by doing internship, by taking case study, by taking part in case study competition. So why I'm telling you in this much detail is,
for me, as like Yash said, it's like completely my case. From the initial, I didn't know about like where I should incline on. So I was always focused on, okay, I'm getting into petroleum, I should go for core. I was having like almost a decent GPA. I was having like decent kind of experience in terms of petroleum. But what I did focus on my college life was that having exposure in every field. I organized many fests. So that kind of a come under analytical thinking, problem solving kind of thing. Then I did a research under, and then I did a hackathon under a ML kind of thing. So that is part of a coding. So what I did, like basically in my whole 4 year, I tried so many things in my life. I learned so many courses, and I eventually find out, okay, these are things that I really want to do, and these are the things that I can't do. So coding wasn't my thing. I generally focus on first the petroleum one, and second something that is related to analytics, business or data.
Sir, and what are the opportunities in off-campus placement?
Okay.
यार बेसिकली ऑफ कैंपस का सबसे अच्छा तरीका है लिंक्डइन। मतलब उससे ज़्यादा तुम्हें और कहीं कुछ पता नहीं चलेगा कंपनीज में क्या चल रहा है और क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि वो सबसे अच्छा सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसमें तुम्हें पता चलेगा कि बाकी कंपनीज में क्या हो रहा है। तो ऑफ कैंपस अपॉर्चुनिटीज मैं थोड़ा आईटी के बारे में बता सकता हूँ और थोड़ा बिजनेस एनालिस्ट या प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट। तो ऑफ कैंपस अपॉर्चुनिटीज या तो ऑनलाइन तुम्हें लिंक्डइन जॉब्स के थ्रू मिल जाती हैं और उसमें कुछ होता नहीं है, मतलब अप्लाई कर दोगे तुम्हारा रिवर्ट बैक कोई नहीं करेगा। तो बेसिकली जो एक सबसे पहले ढूंढो कि स्टार्टअप जो रिसेंटली फंडेड स्टार्टअप्स हैं, जिनको अभी सीरीज ए बी सी डी या कोई टाइप की फंडिंग हुई है। तो जिन स्टार्टअप को रिसेंटली फंडिंग हुई है उनका सबसे पहला पॉइंट यही होता है कि वो अपनी टीम को एक्सपैंड करें। तो उनमें हायरिंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत ज़्यादा होती हैं। तो जो रिसेंटली फंडेड स्टार्टअप्स हैं वो तुम्हें एंजल लिस्ट ऐसे कहीं से मिल जाएंगी।
टोटली प्लस टू व्हाटएवर अनिकेत सेड, बट वो बात आता है ना कि रेफरल कहाँ से आएगा। आई मीन a lot of work experience that I have had is mostly because of my connections. So and I'm pretty sure everyone here would agree कि जब connections की बात आती है तो अपने alumni के पास हमेशा ही जा सकते हैं। एंड वो बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग एलुमनाई बेस है हमारा। तो आप जब भी एलुमनाई से कांटेक्ट करेंगे एंड इफ दे हैव एनी लीड्स, तो वहाँ पे बहुत अच्छा चांस होता है कि सिंस दे आर इन द इंडस्ट्री दे विल हैव more information about what is going on in the industry. So वो आपको actually leads दे सकते हैं, and this has worked out very well for me for many times. So I think this is one way you can take into account the off-campus placements. Like don't just blindly go for big companies, but also talk to people that are your connections, who you know for whatever reason, or have connected on such platforms as Aniket mentioned LinkedIn पर. तो फिर वहाँ से you could get good leads and yeah.
बड़ी कंपनीज को लिंक्डइन पे सिर्फ रेफरल ले सकते हो, उनसे तुम बात नहीं कर सकते कि इंटरव्यूज के डील हो जाए. बड़ी कंपनीज में वो लोग मदद भी नहीं करेंगे कुछ कि बस रेफरल देने के अलावा उनको जॉब देना, दैट्स इट. बट जब तुम ऑफ कैंपस लिंक्डइन में कोई छोटे स्टार्टअप्स को पिंग करते हो ना, स्टार्टअप विच हैव मोर देन 30 to 40,000 फॉलोअर्स एंड हैव मोर देन फंडिंग ऑफ $2 to $3 million, दैट्स इनफ फॉर अ स्टार्टअप टू गिव यू टू लैंड यू अ जॉब अराउंड 15 to 20 lakhs.
Thank you, seniors. Your invaluable experience help us all to choose our field of interest. So we all know that we should not be confined in one stream. We should explore as much as we can possible. So now moving to the next question, what are the different rounds of recruitment process? So for this question, I would like to call you all individually. So now let's hear from the Harshit Pathak sir from Walmart Labs.
I got internship at Walmart Labs, and during when my intern was completed, at the end there was an interview to get the PPO. So for that, it was a simple technical interview, HR interview, and it was simple. They just talked about my intern project and the DS. That you all know that in coding, they obviously they ask that. So it was a simple 1 hour long interview, and I think that was it to get the PPO. I mean, the mentor review is mandatory. I mean, they take mentor review in consideration, and the interview as well. And apart from that, to get the, so I think that when you are working as an intern, I think you should be very serious in project, because the more seriousness you show about your project, it is reflected in your review. So you should be serious about your project, and you should also try to give your feedback to the project. I think that would be necessary to convert your intern PPO.
Thank you, sir. Now, Ayush Kumar sir from Future First.
For Futures First, I would divide that into 3 parts. The first one is written round. The skill that is tested here is quick mathematics, not mathematics, because we are pretty sure everybody, when given enough time, can solve all questions, no matter how many there are. But it's quick mathematics, so the time limit is very less, so you have to be very quick with it. Also remember that it is an open to all company, and therefore you must understand that there is a lot of competition. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind. The other thing, so if you make it through this round, then you are called for your interviews. Now interviews were, I'm telling you a case for myself. The interviews were all eliminatory in nature. So the first one was an HR interview where they find out everything about you. So, and what is the guiding factor for that interview is your CV. So be very well versed with your CV. You should understand everything that you've mentioned in your CV, and your CV should somehow reflect how you're interested in. So this is one thing that you have to take utmost attention to. And then if you make it through this round, then you'll be called for another interview, which tests your analytical abilities and again quick mathematics. So quick mathematics is okay. I mean, the nervousness and pressure will be a little too much because it's one-on-one interview, and the people are right in front of you. You don't use paper and pen; you just answer right away. And analytical question based, so testing how you behave under pressure, how you take decisions. So these are the steps I would say for Futures First. Particularly for the CV or what you have to study, it's not that you have to do so many courses for that, but you should be aware of the basics of finance and markets, and whatever is happening currently in the markets, if you have knowledge of that, that would be a great thing, because people do look for factors that might seem, that will make them feel that you are interested, and which is not very much rampant in many of the students, because let's face it, finance is not one of our core subjects, so we don't know much about it. So if you can prove it to them that you are very interested, well, that can do wonders.
Now let's hear from Ankit Agrawal sir from Standard Chartered.
So basically, it started with the coding round. Coding round consisting of 3 rounds. Matlab the basic starting round consists of 3 rounds. First was the coding round. Second was the logical reasoning. Third was the data and interpretation. So after these 3 rounds, there was the interview round. They asked basically about my CV, projects, 2 data structures and algorithm questions, and that's all. The next round was with the vice president of Standard Chartered. So he just want to know like the on-present thinking of like how my brain works when under pressure. And
so now let's move on to the Saurabh Kumar sir from Cubation.
तो रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस में 4 राउंड्स थे. पहला था आपका शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग, CV शॉर्टलिस्ट. उसके बाद दूसरे राउंड में था आपका एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, और प्लस इसमें SQL क्वेरीज भी थी, और थर्ड राउंड में GD था, और फोर्थ राउंड आपका इंटरव्यूज थे. तो फर्स्ट राउंड में मोर देन 50% CVs उन्होंने रिजेक्ट कर दी थी. तो उसके बाद एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट में आपकी SQL क्वेरीज थी, बेसिक SQL क्वेरीज, और एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट था जनरल रीजनिंग टाइप, और थोड़ा डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन था. वो थोड़ा इजी था, ज़्यादा हार्ड नहीं था. उसके बाद थर्ड था GD. फाइनल राउंड हुआ HR प्लस टेक्निकल राउंड. तो HR में बेसिक HR क्वेश्चंस, और टेक्निकल में आपको पूरा बेसिकली प्रोजेक्ट पूछते हैं. वो जो मैंने भी बताया था, प्रोजेक्ट किया था जिसके बेसिस पे CV शॉर्टलिस्ट हुई थी, वो सारा प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में उन्होंने कंफर्म किया, कि डायरेक्ट पूछा नहीं कि एक्चुअल में आपने प्रोजेक्ट किया कैसे, वो पूरा वेरिफिकेशन करते हैं एकदम. तो ये 4 राउंड थे.
Thank you, Saurabh Kumar sir. Now let's hear from seniors of Quantified Force, Surya Nigam sir, Jalas Tripathi sir, and Yash Jedia sir.
So Quantify as a 4-step process, right? First, they take a test. In this test, they test there are a number of sections, but what actually is that they will be sections on coding also. There will be section on Python also, and all these things. But it's not necessary that you ace well in all of the sections. For example, as we were applying for business analyst, it was important that we perform good in the business, right? And all the sections will be having sectional time limits, and you will get the questions one by one. Notable point is that it will have English also, and it will have maths also. So apart from it, there was SQL in the technical part. So after this screening, what they will do, they will ask it was GD round, and apart from it, what I would say that for me especially the case was that they really good topics for GD. Like in my case, the topic they gave was that Amazon has that same-day delivery feature that was recently added, right? So they discussed what would happen business analysts among the business analysts when Amazon was going to decide that we should opt same-day delivery or not. Means what are the benefits and what could be the dangerous thing. For example, if they are not able to do same-day delivery, then there is a possible word of mouth that Amazon has, right? So they gave a pretty good GD, Quantify, right? After that, first interview will be, it is a technical interview, but don't expect too much technical in it because the role is that kind of thing. So they will give you a case, they will give you a situation, and then you tackle it. That how will you solve it? This is the situation, and what could be the possible solutions that are possible. Then they could ask you follow-up questions. Okay, now we increase this case. Now we do these changes in this case. Then what could be the solution? This was the kind of interview I had, the first one. Right. And another thing that was interesting was that they discussed heavily about the BTech project and another thing that generally happens in the technical interviews at Quantify is that they really check each and every line of CV. They can check any word of CV. They go through the CV very well. But in my case, my interview was the first thing he said actually was that I haven't seen your CV and you tell me anything about it, and according to it, we will move forward. After this, they have an HR round. It's a short HR round, but it's a pretty good HR round again. And any word that you have written related to your skills, like if I had written public speaking, I had written pressure handling, and you should have good made up stories around it. That like why you have written pressure handling over it. Tell me the incidents when you handle pressure. Tell me the incidents when you gave this there was a short deadline and you got over it, and how you handle that, how you deliver things within a short deadline. If I told you that you have to deliver this project within 2 hours, then how will you go with that project? These kind of questions they ask. Then there's simple HR questions that test in the weekends and all those things. After that, you have the onboarding.
Thank you, senior, for the specification of the process. This would definitely help the students to prepare for their desired companies. So now moving forward to the next question. Did the company lay any weightage on projects or previous internships? And does POR play any role in the placement? Harshit Pathak sir from Walmart Labs.
So for Walmart, I don't think they took into consideration POR as much. But surely the project and previous internships are like common for every company. They see that part. So whatever projects you have done, you have to add them in the CV, and definitely they will ask you about the all project that you have in your CV, and about previous internships as well. And I think about projects, you should be completely familiar with the projects. Not only with your projects, whatever you write in your CV, I think you should be completely familiar what you write in that. You should have completely like memorized it. So I think that would be for Walmart.
Thank you, sir. Now Ayush Kumar sir from Future First.
The way you've designed your CV, actually that matters a lot. Heed to what have you shown very importantly in your CV. So projects were not paid that much of attention to at Futures First. I mean, questions were more so based on finance. I had only one project on that. So project was not discussed. However, I'm not saying that it cannot be discussed. If you do a project that's in depth into finance, that is particularly in finance, they are interested, because I know they paid more attention to the skills section of my CV. And there was a slight discussion about the PORs that I hold, because we do understand that there is an HR round in every company, and PORs do show a little bit of your leadership skills. Another thing precisely about Futures First and thing, I don't know about other companies, previous rounds may also be discussed. So this depends upon interviewer. This may vary for other companies and other people for interviewing for the same company. But with me, it happened that a little bit of discussion from the previous rounds was also taken into account.
I would also like to add something more about the projects. So when you add a particular project to your CV, you should not only like write it in the CV. You should also prepare about all the tech stacks that you have used in the CV. And one more thing, the most important thing is that they might, it's a 90% chance that they may ask you about, if they are asking you about any project, they may ask you about what are the future prospects of the project. I mean, what the further things that you can add to the project, or how that project can be improved. So I think that you should also take into consideration that type of questions.
तो CV में बेसिकली मेरे पास PR तो था नहीं, खाली प्रोजेक्ट्स और इंटर्नशिप थे. तो उन्होंने और वो क्वेश्चंस खाली उसी प्रोजेक्ट या इंटर्नशिप से पूछेंगे जो आप रिलेट कर पा रहे होंगे, जो आपकी प्रोफाइल से रिलेट कर पा रहे होंगे उस कंपनी में. तो और क्वेश्चन के जैसे प्रोजेक्ट पे क्वेश्चन कैसे पूछते हैं कि आपने प्रोजेक्ट बना दिया, लेकिन रियल टाइम इंडस्ट्री में यूज कैसे होगा, आप प्रोडक्शन में कैसे डालोगे उसको. ठीक है, तो आप तो एक आइडियल कंडीशंस रख के बनाते हैं, कितने डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स होते हैं, तो वो सब चीज़ें वो बारे में पूछते हैं कि आप इंडस्ट्री में कैसे यूज़ करोगे. और इंटर्नशिप के बारे में अगर आप के पास वो रिलेटेड है, जो प्रोफाइल से रिलेटेड हो रही है अगर आपकी इंटर्नशिप, तो तभी उसके पूछेंगे, अदरवाइज वो इग्नोर कर देंगे और कुछ नहीं.
Thank you, sir. Now let's hear from seniors of Quantify first, Surya Nigam sir and Yes Didia sir.
So first of all, what Ayush said is very, very important. I think for most of the companies, that how you design your CV and how you are answering the first question, that tell me about something about yourself or not, because it drives the interview, in which tone you are setting for the interview. Which, if you're using too many technical terms, that they will obviously ask technical questions. If you are using too many PORs and all that, that they will ask those kind of questions. Adding to it, definitely PORs is very, very important, and it shows a lot about you. Like, apart from it, at Quantify, they give a lot of importance that what is your team spirit, right? And when you show POR, similarly, you should also tell that I have worked in a team of these many members. We don't even always show that I held this responsibility in this club and I was managing 20 people. Say that I was a team of 20 people, and as a 20-member team, I have done these things. That is also important part of Quantify. They also write it in their GD that team membership, team spirit is very important. Apart from it, talking about projects, it really depends upon the interview, but that they might not ask about the projects, because business analyst role, you won't have any projects for that. But the thing is, they want to test that how you can present yourself. That if I have done a project, now how can I explain to you, because you don't know petroleum engineering. So in my case, I haven't even written BTech project in my CV, because I don't know anything about petroleum like that. So they couldn't ask anything, so I haven't written. So, but in my case, they specifically asked, what was your BTech project? What you did for petroleum engineering? And they said that, explain it to me. I'm a civil engineer by profession. Means I have studied from civil engineering, so I don't know anything about petroleum engineering. Now you explain it to me. And what were the highlights of the project within few minutes? And talking about internships, the thing is, internship, they will ask obviously what you have done and what you have learned. Like I have done, there was a digital marketing internship. So they asked, explain digital marketing to a 10-year-old boy. Then they asked, explain digital marketing if there is a 60-year-old man. Then how will it differ? So the thing they are asking is that how you present yourself, how you can explain your ideas to someone else. But I think what Ayush said is very, very important. To design your CV and the first answer very, very well. That how, because that depends, everything depends upon that.
Thank you, seniors. That was really insightful for me, and I'm pretty sure that it will help the audience too. We got to know a lot of things about like having internship and projects will always give us an edge to our skills, and we should be familiar with our CV completely and design it properly. So now the most important question for most of us are: so what role did GPA play in your selection process?
If GPA played any role in the selection, I wouldn't have been selected.
So with me, I had applied to many companies, and always I used to see that there is a minimum threshold. So please ensure that you have a GPA that crosses the threshold. And with me, once in a while, I did have questions on GPA, and I also heard that others had. For me, the question was, you do have a very good GPA. Why are you shifting from core? Because you do have a good chance in your core. So you should have a proper explanation for why you're shifting. And the other question that I heard was that you do not have a substantial GPA. How would you defend that? So these two are the common questions, and you should be able to defend it. With a low GPA, you definitely show what did you do instead. That makes you a valuable candidate. And with a high GPA, you should actually show what is your motivation towards this company and why exactly are you shifting. So yeah, that was about GPA.
Thank you, seniors. Now we know that we should try to have a decent GPA so that we can satisfy the minimum GPA criteria for the most of the company. So now moving forward, we all know CV gives the first impression about any individuals to the interviewer and how important it is to decide of the things to be mentioned in the CV. So, sir, what were the things that you prioritize in your resume or any certificate to show your technical skills?
I don't think they see your certificates. They will simply see your CV. And I think the thing that you should prioritize is your projects. If you're applying for ST profile, and the projects are important. And apart from them, I think POR secondary, the secondary POR will be considered, I guess. The projects are primarily important.
Yeah, as far as I know, for tech savvy people, there are ranking or they are rating on website you are doing competitive coding. But in case of people who have set their mindset to go in business world, you can have certificates by taking part in competition. Like in last year there was this competition organized by Tata company, TIC, Tata Ideation Challenge. So they, in that competition, they sought out top 50 people who have brilliant analytic skill. So that kind of certification program you can go for. And in case of other streams like finance, there are exams like CFA, which gives you again a plus point to stand out from the crowd. And they, it's not like they need certificate, otherwise they won't approve your CV. But there's a lot of crowd. Like if you talk about courses on Udemy, there are a hell variety of courses, and many people write it simply. Even if they haven't gone through the course, they can write it, what it takes to write one line. So they may check certificate, they may verify your credentials, but it won't matter that much. If they want to check if you have really gone through that course, they'll ask you a set of questions to verify that in your interview.
The good certifications, I think Yash has covered. But I, even if you write these Udemy and all these things, for me, my case, I can tell, this generally shows that you are serious about the skills you are writing, that you really have a good knowledge about it. And if you're writing certifications, I had a question in each of my interviews. I had a question about, and you have written these certifications. So what you have listed so many certifications about something, then you must know something great about it. So you should really know that what you have written. I don't know, they click on the link and check that I don't know, but you should know about it. And that's why I think it's a good thing to write, because you have the question prepared. Apart from it, talking about PORs, yes, PORs must be there. I think normally for any of the companies, POR must be there. Then the technical skills you should write, projects. That's it. But change it according to the companies. Just design it as per the company's requirement. Write your projects and design your CV as per each of the companies. Try to change it for the company.
Whatever the whole point is, whatever you write in the CV, you must be able to defend it, like completely defend it, whatever you write. If at any point the interviewer thinks that you have written something wrong or like it's fake, then there are pretty much chances that you will be rejected. There's something, everything must change.
That is the most important thing. Whatever you have written, you should defend.
You should be able to defend it. And please try to refrain from like spelling mistakes and everything, that formatting, editing. Show your CVs to as much as seniors as possible. And keep checking it again and again. Update your CV, whatever you can do. Just don't make silly mistakes like spelling mistakes, formatting, indentation must be proper and everything. That's it.
Yeah, talking about what I prioritize while making any CV for any company are my project section, that should be clearly visible and should have enough attention to it. Then my skills section, that is skills section is very important, and that should be made for the company. And then my experience. Experience is past work, internships that I might have done. Another fourth thing that I might be looking at is extracurriculars and achievements. But I pay attention to that, but not as many recruiters do. So the first three are my priority. I also do prioritize the design of the CV. It should not look shabby. It should look that you have given enough and more time to the CV. You have paid enough heed to its punctuation, its design, its editing, everything. And talking about PORs and projects, you should pay enough and more attention to all of them. And the last thing was certificates that you asked. Then I would say that I did have a very good certification in my CV, and I don't know whether the interviewer looked at it, but he did not ask any questions about it. So it's really depending on the interview, whether they want to or whether they don't want to. But it wouldn't make a much world of a difference. If you are capable without any certification, well, that can do wonders for you as well. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, seniors. Now we all know what should be prioritized in our resume, and it sometimes gives an edge to have certificates of the skill set. So, moving forward to next question. So, what's the best way to handle the stress during placement season, especially in non-core?
So I do not delay things, do not procrastinate, because I know at the start, precisely at the starting of the placement season, because there will be a lot of rush at that point of time. So you should always have your things organized, every documents ready for each company. Different companies ask for different documents, so you should already have your folders prepared, however you do that, but you should keep it organized all the time. And you should be aware of all the schedules. Means be proactive and keep up with the dates and deadlines that are thrown at you, because that will happen at a lot at very much at the starting of the placement season, because so many companies are conducting their processes at the same time. So yeah, that's about it. And talking about stress that you may have in case you're not placed at the very start, then do understand that the placement season has its start, but it has no end. So it does not say that on this particular date the placement season ends. There is no such date. So there is a very long period of time. The placement process is a very long process. Okay, and our college works really hard in. I mean, disagree, but I would say that our college works really hard for it, and the placement season is a very long season. So be aware of this fact that it's not the end yet. People will be placed towards the very end, maybe at the end of the semester as well. So yeah, that is something that keeps us calm.
See, understand one thing: there's no person on this planet who will have zero nervousness or jitters before applying for interview. So you'll be nervous, you'll panic out while giving answers to your interviewer. But the important thing is your preparation and your practice. It's a long phase, and everyone has different timeline. As I said, there are folks in this meeting who got placed very early before placement season actually commenced, and there are folks who got placed after exam was over. So you should be mentally prepared that everyone has different timeline. And
after the result was declared,
yeah,
we were
after the
placed
result
after
was
the result
declared.
was declared.
Yeah, so there will be stress, there will be pressure, there will be a time when you'll face inferiority complex. So important thing is preparation and practice. You have to talk to yourself looking at the mirror. What is your body language, what are your expressions? You should smile during interview. Then what set of questions interviewer can ask? Be ready for all kind of possibilities. That's the only way to crack the interview. There's no other way around. You can get into the company.
It's easy to say that you shouldn't lose hope, right? But when it really happens and you are the last one to get placed, and at that time Yash and Jalaj used to discuss a lot of whether we will be placed or not, and we used to call each other what will happen. But the thing is that you should think कि अगर मैं place नहीं हो रहा हूँ, then the competition is also decreasing ना. If other people are getting placed, so now I have to face less competition. Just stay happy about it. You can't do anything about it, right? Jalaj used to say, I remember that when he used to call, we need just one company needs to recognize that they deserve us. Just it's okay if it was not happening in this one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Keep on trying. Try to stay happy. Really get discouraged. Go and talk to the friends, especially the friends who are not placed. They will understand better. And they will tell you, I used to talk with Yash and Jalaj a lot. Luckily, we got in the same company. How are you handling it at this point? Just stay motivated. You have to stay motivated. You don't have any other choice. Never take it too seriously. Even if you're not placed, then what will happen? Nobody will throw you out of your house. Your parents won't throw you out of their house. Na?
Some might. But okay.
Yeah, okay.
That
would
says
like to
something
add
like
one
that.
more thing.
See,
Am I
you
audible?
think that what you know how to motivate yourself. Just tell yourself that you have to be happier, because then your efficiency will
Am I
decrease
audible?
considerably. If you will be in another situation, if you will be so much stressed out, you have to take care of that. That I have to be on the top of my efficiency. And think about that, the competition is decreasing. Now chances are increasing. In each interview, your chances are increasing to get selected. That's good. See, if Harshit and Ayush are also competing for Quantify, you would not have been selected. But they were not there. So they're decreasing the competition.
Right. I would like to
So
add.
Harshit want to say something.
मैंने भी करा भाई डिग्री ऐसे मत बोल
Sorry.
भूल गया तू
I think this is an important part that before the start of the placement season, you should decide beforehand what industry you want to enter in. Like if you want to go in petroleum, because what the first company for petroleum is coming in December, the second one will come in March. So what you have to do, you get confused because the companies are coming from all the sides. The companies are coming for finance, for coding, and everything. So you have to decide your like industry, whatever industry you want to enter in, decide beforehand, because it gets very confusing at that time, because the companies are coming from all sides and you have to decide that whether you want to apply or not, because if you didn't apply you might miss some opportunity, and if you did apply you might get into it and you might not get the opportunity to apply for a better company that might come later for a different industry. So that's also a thing to consider.
Thank you, seniors. We all come to know that we should maintain positive attitude and should be always happy in any situation to maintain the stress along with the academic parts. So now move on to the last question. So what mistakes would you think that students generally make during placement preparation? What suggestion would you give to your juniors?
I think we covered this very well, that be serious while designing your CV and all these things, right? So whatever points we have covered till now, just be serious about it.
One point I'd like to add. Yeah.
बार क्या होता है ना कि when we get freedom in first year, people go crazy. Like they throw money like shit. They pick up a wrong track. So it's very important कि you keep balance and your life is disciplined. I'm not saying कि बस like a bookworm, you just sit in your room for 12 hours a day and keep studying. And मैं ऐसा भी नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि you just spend your time with friends, you are going to library, you are walking Rosalind, or you are chilling in Wedlock. So it's very important to keep balance and never get involved in ISM politics, or never go for fame, because lot of crowd, they think that if I'm coordinator of Shrijan, or if I'm organizing Basant, I'll get in interview. So that's just a stereotype. Don't believe in it. The most important thing is right from the start, at least have two career lines which you want to choose. Either you want to go in core, or you want to go in finance, you want to do coding, or you want to be part of business world. Work on those two career lines, and then find a time to chill out, to go crazy, because it's equally important to give yourself, to cut yourself some slack. And it's also important that you are serious about your chosen career line. If you keep this kind of balance throughout your college days, everything will work. And believe in yourself, because as I said, placement season is for some people, it may go in a depressing state, and for some people they have early success. So both for both kind of scenarios there are pros and cons, but just believe in yourself, stick to your timeline, stick to your schedule, and make sure that you're not making any wrong decision in your 4 years life. And never underestimate your core branch or your major study, because even if you believe that core is not my thing, but at the end of the day it may turn out that you have a humongous amount of interest in yoga study, or say research, or field job. So until placement season commence, you don't have answer to some set of questions. So just try to engage yourself, try to be active, connect with lot of people, connect with seniors, get into their life and have a perspective about how their college days were. So that will give you an idea about how you want to see your 4 years. So yeah.
Thank you, seniors. Your invaluable experience will definitely help us to choose our field of interest, and the hacks will definitely helps us. And have a plan B for yourself is always a positive point towards yourself. So
Thank you, Senior. So with that, we come to end of our session, end of the fourth episode of the Placement Talk. It was a great pleasure to interact with you all, and we learned a lot of new things. Thank you all, and congratulations once again, seniors.
yeah, that's all. Thank you, seniors. It has really been a pleasure, and once again, congratulations to all for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.